here. I just wanted to do a little impromptu live. I have a bunch of stuff I got in the past, month, past couple weeks actually. Um, I usually don't keep a ton of stuff at my house, but figured while I have the chance, get to review some stuff people normally don't see, and discuss some of these inserts that just really just don't pop up that often. There was a collection I helped, one of my friends, Rick. He's a Griffey guy. Um, about 2 years ago, it was like 18 months ago. I helped him go through his entire collection. We graded a bunch of stuff. We sent, some to Beckett, some to PSA, and we finally got the PSA ones back. It was a 355 card order, and we got 110 gems. We did overall pretty well. Missed a couple of the big ones, but I think we killed it overall. And a lot of these are a good amount of these are from that, and then just some other stuff. So. And then I also picked up this other collection that was, I had a 24K. I had just a bunch of, like Pacific, a lot of Pacific stuff. I'll show you guys. Just stuff, like this. So basically what I'll do is I'll get it. It'll be like this. I'll organize it by like the type of insert, when I'm breaking down a lot. I know some people don't. Like I've seen a lot of like bigger consigners, they don't grade, but I'll go through all these to grade them. So just kind of sharing some, tips on how I break down lots too. So all these I already went through, and they're not worth grading, condition wise, but there's a lot of low numbered stuff here. But I personally only use the top three guys: PSA, SGC, and DGS. So what I'll do is I'll make little little bags full of stuff. So PSA, SGC. So when I get enough of some of them, I'll send it out. For like Beckett now, I'll probably use PC sports cards just because it's easier, and then I don't have to like worry about the extra shipping, insurance, and all that. I can just get the $10 USPS instead of the $50 FedEx shipping, and they have a pretty easy website. But yeah, let's review some of these cards I got back. This was just a recase. They had it as a regular. This one's from 97 Bomb and Chrome. It's the inverted, meaning usually Ken Griffey's the big picture and he's in the small spot. This was like an unannounced stealth insert. Bonds on the back. They're semi-rare. They actually pop up more often than something that's super rare, but they do. The Griffey sells for like $1,500, raw. So it is a pretty good card. And the other players, can be like $200 to $600. But these are tough because if you put it at a glance, right there, there's like a line right there. Usually they have a lot of print lines, and the surfaces are usually chewed up on these, so that's what makes those pretty tough. I tried to put these in some order, but I failed, so there'll be a bunch of random stuff mixed in. So these sets, all Prism, which I kind of jumped on the Prism bandwagon. I do like Prism. I have a couple of the years I am trying to do runs, but they just fell off a cliff. Even golds, I sold a couple doubles, and they didn't perform very well. So I won't be selling much more of this stuff. But I just sold the PSA 9. I only got $200, but this one's out of 7. But it is they are beautiful cards. Just the all right. Let's see what we got. So we'll go down the line. So these were from a fellow Griffey collector who doesn't like graded stuff, and he just he had these in his thing, so I picked them up. 04 Topps Chrome Black. Like this stuff I'll get new cases because I'm OCD, so I don't like having the old cases. I'll make a big. Actually, I have a ton ready to go. I have to just get them in order. But this one's actually like this year's very popular. That's a great photo. And then I also picked up the 06 black. The 04 is a pop 4. This is a pop 6. But these are numbered to 549. And this year is actually not numbered, and it sells for more. And then this one is 549. But they're very, very hard to get centered. This one I picked up in a collection. The subset. I actually have all the Topps Chrome refractors, not all the base ones, 96 through 99. This I actually picked up when it was a pop one from PWCC years ago, 2018. This set doesn't really get much like the love it deserves for being numbered to 25. Compared to the other stuff and similarly numbered. That's kind of when I laugh at, like, the newer generation of collectors. Everything's like, oh, it's an investment. Oh, this is a pop 2, and this is a pop 2. That only matters so much. It depends on the card and the notoriety, which, Rodney and myself, we have a video up on the insert tiers, which kind of breaks it down. And if you're newer, it's kind of tough to explain, but certain things fall in a certain category. But like this particular card was only in 1999 finest home team advantage boxes, which were jumbo boxes. So in the regular boxes, you could get the blue refractors, but the gold and the red's only available in the jumbo. So they are pretty tough to find. This one I actually got from somebody, in the Griffey group, who buys like lots, just like, like the $50-$100 lots of Griffey Commons, and break them down. So this guy had this just randomly in a lot that was, I think, $100. And then, he reached out to me because on the back, most people would, maybe overlook this, especially the front. It's not, it's cool, but it's like if you didn't know what it was. But as you can see, it's numbered out of 10. And then right there, you mailed it in for a poster that was like the size of your wall. And there's only one other copy that exists that's known. I'm sure maybe more exists, but the other one exists was actually redeemed and has the poster as well. So this is a pretty, like, super stealth card. This is one of those cards, though, that probably is not going to sell for a ton of money, even though it's like a super ghost of a card. So rarity doesn't always equal, value. We'll go down the stack. This was part of a recent bulk PSA sub I did. This type of stuff that if I'm keeping it, I'll just grade anyway. So actually one of them I did grade, came back. I had marker, which I would have caught. I actually probably knew, but I just didn't even look at them because I knew they were all beat up. But this one's out of 50. But as you can see, it just chipped. They're just wicked beat up. But 90% of them are like that. There's nothing really you can do. 2000 is like kind of the downfall of Griffey stuff. It's still a lot of value, but it's not like the 90s at all. That one's actually pretty nice. But that one's number 200. And for newer stuff, I actually kind of started going a little crazy on it, and I calmed down. But I did put this entire run together. Surprise-wise, I mean the one of the last cards I'll show you, I was just happy that it got a 10. But usually I'm more like, a lot of people complain that they're tougher. Me, I always think I get like more gift grades than anything, because once I have I'll show you the two cards that like kind of I guess you could say inspired me. Let's see if all right, here. So I I sold an Ovation, so this is why, like, again, grading, you're paying for an opinion, so I don't get as worked up as some people do because it's a game to me. So I sold one of these on eBay years ago. Got like 400 bucks. My buddy Tim bought it, and then recently he tried selling it, and then he graded it, and it came back a 10. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, how did that get a 10? And I knew it was chewed up. You know, like if you use a loop, you can definitely tell on the edges. To your eyes, you can't really see, but um, I actually can even tell on this corner right here. Just a little fuzzy, a little chip. But point being is, I'm like, how the hell did that get a 10? So I had this and this from a trade from the same person. So his trade, you know, my trade worked out a lot better because there was more stuff. But these were both in my binder. So what I did was I literally, when they dropped it to 18 bucks, I went through my entire Griffey binder of just like good stuff but not gradable. And if it wasn't bent, I sent it in. And I got to tell you, I did pretty well. So this one's a pop 3. It's a nice card. And then this one's actually a pop 1. And as you can see, it is chipped. It's got some white, but I mean, it's the nicest one I've seen. Would it be a 10 to me? It's borderline, but still a nice card. But here's like another one. No bend, send it in. This was another one. Like this is a pop 1, and this is a pretty decent insert. You know, these are $1.99. That was one of them, and then this one. Where did it go? This is another one that these are actually, we got confirmation from the Essential Credentials podcast. They talked to Mike Kramer, who is the guy behind Pacific, and these are a retail only parallel. And I think he said there was like 109 of them or 110 around there, so they're pretty rare. And boom, got a 9. You know, I would have never normally have sent this in, so I would definitely take that. And then here's another group of cards that were in my binder. So that one's out of 29, number 1 out of 29. How come this thing doesn't focus? And these are all pop 1s if you know people care about that. This is out of 19. And then the big one out of 9. So, you know, 9s on that type of stuff will definitely, you know, help the value. I know if you're watching and you're into newer stuff, you know, a lot of times 9s might not exactly bring a ton more money, but this is one I had sub myself. This set I went for the whole thing. I missed out on one of the 101s, and I've never seen the other two. No bend, send it in. That's my new motto. Another set optic. You know, again, this one is actually better now that I'm looking at it, but top to bottom centering's a touch off, but it is better than my other copy. That's a 9. 7 out of 10. This was another. I got this from a guy in the group. And then there's always debate over like dimples and stuff. I'm trying to find some examples, but like a dimple is not gonna. There's a dimple right there. It's not gonna hurt the grade usually, unless there's like 10 of them, like over his face. This one's out of 20. $27 optic. It's a 5 out of 5. Here was another binder card. This stuff for Griffey really doesn't sell at all. It's super weak, but like this is one of the couple of years that it actually looks nice. Some of the years are just kind of terrible. Let's see what else we got. 05 Finest. Somebody just sub one of these, and I bought it off from Instagram / the Griffey group. But this is another set that they don't sell very well. The last one got like $150. I would think it would be like 500. And then I picked these up. These were from the big order I just got back from my buddy. But these yeah, I just got these for the run. They're nothing too spectacular, but they are probably like one or two, pop two each around there. 2015 Prism. This is the only year I haven't seen the black 101. This one's the 202. So once I can find the 101, I can complete the run because I think I have everything else. I actually just got back a crazy run of all this stuff, so you can see silver, red baseball, checker. I believe that's 149. Yep. Camo. That one's 199. Tie-dye, which is getting sold. I think I have one already. It's out of 50. Jackie Robinson. That's a cool looking one. 42. I always say if you're grading new stuff and you're not getting 10s, like things I don't get a 10 on, I'm not wondering why. Like I know why. It's just like you could do this shit with your eyes closed. This one's actually pretty rare. Peacock. This is the only one I've ever seen. Peacock Choice. And then the Genesis, I've seen a couple of, but I actually got this off of Whatnot, which I never go on there. I just happened to check one day when I was bored. And somebody had it it was raw. And then just I like to have everything graded, so I already knew these weren't gonna be too hot, but that's out of 7. Purple, 7. White donut, that's out of 5. And then the green flash, it's out of 5. Then we're going to some 2012 Prism Pulsar. That's a pretty nice looking one. I have the national one as well. That's numbered to 5. Then we got the Father's Day. See, these all have like a refractor line. It was I was debating. I think it was the Crack Dungeon or one of the guys that crack stuff, and we were debating over a print line. And I do have some in here that snuck through. So, but that's I'd call that luck. That's not the norm. If you get something through with a print line, you just have a grader that is falling asleep or overlooked it. But it's definitely not the norm. Regular auto. So I was not very good at autos before. Now I'm a lot better, but still not good. But like this one, you can see if it's touching the edge of the sticker, it's going to be a 9. So that's why that didn't get graded. I mean, that might sneak through, but it's very close. But they've gotten a lot tougher on autos too. So like this one's going off the top for sure. So that would be a 9. I hope this stuff comes back to life at some point. And then we got Team Finest red. It's out of 500. I just picked that up for the run. It's nothing too crazy. 250. And then here's an example of one that probably shouldn't be a 10, but it is. And I could see why they would possibly pass it. This is a pop one, but right above his helmet, see that print line? Every single card has it of Griffey that I've ever seen. So, but if you look at certain angles, it's better. So maybe that's what they were going by. But that's 99. So that's a tough one. And this is another tough one. This is a pop one as well. Once I get the cards back, I'll have to do a finest showcase because I've got every 93 through 99 and almost all the 2000s now. So here's a couple of the golds I got for the 2000s. There's 5 total. I'm missing the 2 base ones. And you know, if you don't collect this type of stuff, you'll notice there's a decal edge. That's how it was pack inserted. If you go on eBay, you'll see a ton of them, and for whatever reason, PSA graded them of the ones without the deckled edge. Those were just sold off in sheets, and somebody cut them up, so they're not the real deal. And that completely watered down the market because they put them in repack products and all that type of shit. So, yeah, it just basically killed it because these are actually really rare. This was probably the most common. This one is very rarely comes up. I think there's one on eBay now. Somebody in the Griffey group had one, but and then there's another one. Where'd that go? Oh, right here. This one's only. I actually have a 10 of this that I got on eBay a while ago, but baseball card PD doesn't have the odds right, but on the actual packs, these are 1 in 1152, I believe. So it's the same odds as a golden blush refractor. So in this set, none of the cards are numbered except for the rookies are out of 100. So it's thought that they're all 100, and I would venture this is like 50, like based on the odds. But you know, I'm not one to like guess. I just know I've only seen two ever, yeah, of this. So I just wish it was like a little better pose. It's kind of ugly as shit, but then we got this is another gift. So you can see the line, the print line. But it's 1 out of 50. Certain light you can't see it, but if you're holding it in hand, you definitely can. This one right here, if anybody comes across, I need the 10. I had a 10 years ago and I sold it before I went on my quest, but this is the last big finest insert that I need. 34 out of 50. Yeah, you can see all the fingerprints on this stuff. I gotta basically I'll go through, wipe it, scan it, and then sleeve it up. '03 Heritage. I don't believe there was any blacks this year, so this is the toughest one. It's out of 554. Almost jersey number. And then the Heritage Chrome Blacks. This one might get cracked and resubbed. That one's out of 60. And we got the '09. Like nobody wants a Ken Griffey Jr. White Sox card. I don't even get why they made any. He only played for like a couple months. I know why they made him, but I'm just saying it's fat Griffey. So not a huge fan. This is a nice year though. I think it's the only year that it was horizontal. I mean vertical. And then probably the best year. '04. This one out of 55. It's Sorry, it keeps my little chat box keeps disappearing. And then here's another one that again I wasn't going to send it in because it had like it had a mark on that upper corner right there, and I got a 10. So I mean it is hard to see, so I can see if I always assume that PSA, SGC, and Beckett have like different light sources that they grade under, because Beckett is wicked lenient on surface, and it makes sense if they have like I guess halogen lights, and maybe SGC uses LEDs because they're much. I find them tough on 90s refractors with like surface issues. This is a O2 black. These are like wicked hard to find. The traded's out of 100, but the base set's out of 50. I remember years ago I had sold one at auction and it got like everybody was touting, oh, it's so hard, and they only got like $150. I'm like, that's weak. This was like 5 years ago though, but now this whole set's kind of crept back up to notoriety. This one I was just actually happy it graded. I thought it was trimmed. I mean, it still could be, who knows, but that top edge is kind of suspect. But as you can see, the surface right there. But these are hard to find. So this is like a good this was in CGC. I think it was CGC. It was an 8.5, and I could tell right away just by looking at it. I'm like, that's not an 8.5. So that's why I put all my faith in PSA first and foremost, and then Beckett if I just want like a better grade. Because if you actually start learning to review the card yourself and not just go by like the grades, you'll realize PSA is a lot more technically sound, where BGS kind of just I guess would say I'd call them an estimate, and then SGC kind of just eyes it. This card is like a sneaky rare card. There's a gold medallion to 50, and there's actually you can find those, and the regular one you can never find. I found this I think on eBay for $30, and then I graded it. So it's actually I like that pose as well. UD Gold Reserve. This card actually originally was at a local show, the Shriner Show in Wilmington, Massachusetts, and it was about 4 years ago. And I kept looking at it, and it was labeled wrong too. And it was a pop one, and I'm like, oh, I should buy this. It was like $600, and then that was like a year went by, year and a half, and then he upped it to $1,200, and I'm like, fuck, I should have picked this up for $600, and I didn't get it. Then he sent it to Golden Auction at the beginning of this year, and it ended up I went for it. It sold for $3,000. I'm like, what the fuck? And I didn't win it. So then recently it came back up for auction, and I won it for $2,000. So all in all, it worked out. I won it back. Paid a little bit more, but at least I got it. But Ken Griffey Jr.'s red stuff right now is like pitifully low. So to me, that's all good buys. All right, next, let's see what stacks we got over here. This was a recent pickup, part of my gold run. I have 95, 96, and a bunch of the subsets. But this was like the last one I needed, and there was like an auction recently. I didn't go for it, and it went stupid low, and then I ended up paying like $500 or $600 for this one. But to me, it's worth it. As a kid, I remember pulling this like 100 times. So just super hard cards to gem. This is one I got in a collection recently. This one I'll get a new case for. These are not the mirrors, just a regular blues out of 180. This is actually a pop one. I have no idea what it's worth. I just know it's a pretty big card, and this will be a keeper. But yeah, it's pretty clean. Usually they have like, edge issues and stuff like that. So, but definitely need a new case. It's pretty beat up. This one right here. I've been looking for it for a couple years now, and for those that don't know, this was out of 1993 Upper Deck Series 2, only in certain packs. And then even sometimes when it said it was in those boxes, they didn't, like, you couldn't find them. So I don't know if that was like a marketing error, but this is a pop one. And then, obviously the chipping, a lot of people color them in. Like I've picked some up at shows where they have magic marker. So now I like loop them just to double check. And the closest I've come to finding one was on eBay. I got a raw one for like $5, and I got a 9 out of it. I ended up getting like 300, but somebody on Facebook posted this, and they inherited their father's collection, and he had a bunch of random PSA 10s, and this was in the middle of it. And then months later, he finally reached out, and we made a deal for it. But for fans of condition sensitive cards, it doesn't really get much tougher than this. This is like one of the toughest 90s cards, period. Because if you open that stuff now, like everything has ding corners, it's beat up. Here's another one that's really tough. I think this is a pop 6. It's one of those cards you don't think about, but like if you really look at condition, it's impossible. All this early stuff. And even this one's not perfect, which a gem mint 10 is not perfect, but it's got a touch of chipping, but it's definitely super clean. But it's just one of those cards, like as a kid, you love pulling these things. This one I was really hoping would get a 10 because I needed it for my run. I only got a 9. This was part of the one I sent away 18 months ago for somebody else, but we'll use that as a placeholder. Random Prism in the middle of this mix. These are out of 15. That's a pop one. This is Fab 40. This is another card that's like insanely tough condition wise. Everybody was numbered to their home run total. It is super nice, and I'm surprised they don't actually sell for a lot more than they do because it's a cool card, and the product was terrible. But as you can see, look at that, like the edge. So this is actually a pop one, and there's no 9s or 10s. And somebody sold one last year. I wish I really picked up because it looked super clean. But we'll take that. It's just an awesome looking card with the cubes. Speaking of cubes, I gotta go watch Hellraiser later. Finish that. All right, next we got Stars and Steel Gold Holographic. For the 99 version, the domed, you can actually tell which pack has it. So if you ever buy those boxes, make sure it's a reputable person because you can just weigh them. I'd assume you can definitely see through if they're open, you can definitely see it because it's thicker. But yeah, these are super hard to find. They very rarely pop up, and then they're usually like wicked off center. It's another. This is like this sums up the 90s with Leaf and Donruss of like people don't understand what they have. So prime numbers, is based on his career home runs at the time of 294. So there's a 2, a 9, and a 4. But on the back, it's numbered in succession. So the first 4 are the die cut 4s, which I picked up like the last public sale was like $19.99, and then one popped up this year, and I got that PSA 9. So that's only the first 4, and then the next 90 are the 9s, which is this one. and then the last 200 of the 2s. So this is the second toughest one to find, and you know, I'm happy with the 9 on that particular one. Pinnacle inside, I remember when they used to have QVC, and you could that guy was like, oh, you get a $500, you get a whole baseball card case, and I bought one, and then I got Pinnacle inside. I was so pissed, I returned it because it was like $100 case trying to rob you. But these are like one in like 50 something packs, and usually you get like one or two a case, but it take you forever to open that shit up. But a 9 on these is really good. The other big card would be Jeter. The Jeter in that set is pretty good too. Kramer's Choice. Public service announcement with die cut cards in a PSA case. Make sure you don't ship them around because I had a gold. I had this red, which I have the same grade now as an 8. So I had an 8, and then I had a 9 on the gold numbered to 15, and PWCC shipped them, and like either they got dropped or whatever, and it hit it so hard that it mushroomed the top of the card. So now I have 2 damaged cards, and I'm trying to get reimbursed, and we're going back and forth on the price. So I really wish they would put like something like Beckett or like make it so it doesn't move. But that's apparently asking too much. 97 hot gloves. This is a run I'm going for in all 10s. These are like 1 in 72. And we got Century Legends. I'll probably end up selling this. I'm not like the base auto stuff. I don't. There's like probably 10 of those. So that's people ask me all the time, how do I know what to sell, what to buy, what to keep, and like something like this that I know I can find again. This will be at like I won't sell it unless I have to, but it'll probably be on the block because I know I can always find another copy. Sterling, 99 finest. A tip when any finest with a peel, after you peel it, I always cut the entire penny sleeve like so. I take my blade. I wear gloves usually. So gloves, blade. And what I'll do is I'll make sure that it doesn't touch the card, and I'll put it in like so. Because a lot of times, depending on the penny sleeve, if you just put it straight in after you peel it, it'll leave lines on the card. So if you have a finest common like refractor, usually the base cards are good. It's the refractors, and you put it straight into the penny sleeve. It'll give it lines. And I figured that out one time because I was subbing stuff to Beckett, and it kept getting an 8.5 surface. So finally, I cracked it and looked at it under the in glancing light, and sure enough, it was like lines all down the card. 99, literally the worst design of a big insert ever, probably. Still probably better than anything new, but 99 atomic out of 100. I just don't get what their thought process on this was. Like a little bit of a crack in there. Here's another random lower end, but tough to find. These are the samples. Everybody that had like Book Fair Scholastic as a kid, you remember the Procter and Gamble, but the samples are pretty tough to find. Griffey's like $80 to $100. This is another set, 01 golds. I'm searching for 10s, and a Griffey doesn't exist yet, which is weird. But I'm gonna auction this to see what it would go for. But I sold a base for $700. It was a 9, so there is always demand out there in places you wouldn't expect it. This was some. So these are a couple that I got back from Alt. I had like kept some stuff there. 94 Tops Black Gold is a set like I like a lot. So that's the Griffey certified winner. The certified is the one you got back after you redeemed it. And then we got 90s guys know how tough this card is. ABCD winner, unlike the 93 set, which was flooded, and you could find like every factory set it seemed had one, and they must have just gave them out through the back door because you could find the winners everywhere. This one actually held pretty true. That it was one in like 3,600 packs, and then might have been one in 7 something for jumbo packs, but they're very tough to find. You know, well-centered raw copy can sell for like $400. I have to go and clean up my, so they got all scratches on them. But with 44 players, you know, they can sell pretty well because they're tough to find. And then the certified one is just as tough as well. 96 SPX. As you like the 96 and 97 SP, the markers they used weren't the greatest. This actually is pretty nice for this. It's still got a big ass streak, but you know they didn't abide by that 70-30 back centering. But you know, I ain't complaining. Oh, one down rust. There's a lot of fakes of these around. So this one says stat line season. There's a lot of career stat lines that have 56. That one's fake. You know, it has to match up to the total, it says. But this was in that retro product where you had multiple years of Donruss in one product. This is one that I did think would be a 10. I actually didn't go for a 10 last year or earlier this year because I thought this would be a 10, but it's almost like a jambalaya background. And then we got tributes, which again, so this card raw is like, we'll call it $50. So people that, if you're newer to grading, a 9 in this is like, we'll call it 500 to 700 range, you know, depending, you know, who's out there buying, but we'll call it, say, $500. Whereas raw, this card's maybe $200. So 9s and 90s, even 8s carry a premium on, like, especially refractors. So that's why a lot of my subs will have a lot of, you know, like 96 Topps Chrome. You can get a bunch of 8s and you can make a ton of money because people want it. His 99 PMG. All the subsets are wicked beat up. This is actually really good for this. I have the other one's a 4 that I have, but you know it's a little mark right there. But they're just wicked. Just the foil they use, they must have cut them with like by hand because they're wicked shitty all the time. These are my vote for one of the stupidest inserts ever. It's just a clear plastic piece of paper or like a cellophane. But this is out of 20. Cooperstown bound. And this one's probably like the most common one. This one's come up a lot over the years. That one's out of 20 as well. But at least Pacific, they always did try new stuff. We got that glare. It's annoying. And then we got 2,000 power players. This card's like always up and down. It's actually fairly easy to pull. But Griffey is, it's like, you know, $200 to $600. It kind of bounces around between that and then gems, who knows. But it is a nice looking card. But it was like 1 in 12 or 1 in 24. Ultra. I always liked all the Ultra inserts because they were different. Like they don't have anything like this now. It's just downtown. It's like it takes like a 2-year-old 5 minutes to make. But this is embossed too. Let's see. So these were 1 in 288 packs. Just a cool looking insert. All right, now we get into the finale stack. This one, these I just got because I had both of them. So these are out of 10. So you got the base. His old, like this era of stuff for Griffey, doesn't sell for much. We'll call them, they're just not big cards like you would think. I think that's where that's why I love the 90s, because if you go around the country, 90% of people think it's trash and they lump it in with everything else. This right here is, I consider, one of the toughest. This and 96 Diamond Destiny. Like, you can't tell if it's gold or bronze that easy. Like, unless you had like both in hand. But I remember opening like a million of these as a kid and like, oh, which one's the parallel? But because they all had like a silvery foil. Let's see if we got any. But yeah, this one's a pop one, so that's pretty cool. That's the toughest one. Yeah, and then like once you if this was a Mariners card, it would probably be like 5x what it is worth. 5-10x, but once you hit the red stuff, it's a lot tougher. Dial 1. This is 1 in 300 packs. Just a cool insert. It's not that cool, but kind of, they got that Nokia phone up in here. Hardest proof, nothing too special. This is just picked it up because it's a PSA 10. But pretty much, somebody asked me, "Oh, what's a hard PSA 10 to pick up?" It's 90% of all 90 stuff. If you look at, basketball is a lot different, but like Griffey, if you go on my Instagram, almost anything big is pop 5 or under, and to me, pop 10 is a lot. And the biggest Griffey, one of the biggest, is actually the 93 finest refractor. That's a pop 44, I think. So the stuff is, and a lot of people like, oh, only 2 are graded. That only means so much as well, because a lot of guys in the 90s, they actually don't like graded cards. They prefer them raw. So you can't always go by like what's been graded. But like, for instance, this one has 3 versions. So this is the Griffey refractor side. There's an A-Rod only refractor, and then they both have refractors. That one's the toughest one. So I actually have each version, the dual and 10s already. So now I just need the A-Rods. That was actually when I first came back. That was my first, the finest run is the run I went for first. So I almost completed that. And then if I wanted to go crazy, you could go with the peel and no peel, but I'm not that OCD. Donruss collections. This one was these are 588, I believe. There's 4 versions in the set: Donruss Elite, Leaf, and Prized. I mean preferred. But and then right here on the back, a way to tell it on eBay is it says PC, prize collection. So if you ever have like a shitty picture and you're not sure, if it's the refractor version, I did that in quotes because it's prize collections, but you can just tell right there. And then this one, we'll save that one. 09 Topps Chrome. I'm not a big fan of, again, this towards the end of 09 Griffey stuff, but like this one is just it's not terrible looking in. It's really tough. This is a pop 2. And these are out of 50. This one I actually purchased the entire 16 card run. Only this one was a 10. I didn't grade the others. But it's actually just vinyl. So a piece of vinyl. 5 out of 10. That's like probably one of the worst pictures, but he's like, fuck me, I'm about to ruin my career. Take me back. We got 01 Topps Chrome, Golden Anniversary. These are pretty, these don't pop up too often. Especially with the price of Chrome now. You can't, it's tough to find any of these early boxes. And when you do, they're like $500. 07 Finest, X Factor. Actually, I have 3 of these. 15 out of 25. The centering's not terrible. Actually, I have to double check that one. I don't know why I got oh. But one of the things I always all right, this is a perfect example. So everybody's like, oh, I should have got a 10. I'm so good at grading. So to your eye, I mean, my camera helps, but like pretty much assume you're looking at the corners and you think they're perfect. So then you grab your loop. That one, frayed. There's a lot of work to make this just right. Holy shit. But as you can see, it's rounded. Just take my word for it. See how it's kind of rounded? So those two corners not being perfectly square is why it's a 9. Now, if only one of them had like a little touch and the rest were perfect, you could get by. But 2 is automatic 9 all the time. And when I say all the time, take that with a grain of salt. Yes, I'm sure things have snuck by. I've seen creases get a 10 by accident, but we're talking if everything's to code and perfect. This is one I got like a couple of these. I got new cases. I finally got them back. If you guys don't know, like this was labeled 1989. If you go on the PSA website and you just fill out like the customer form inside where you would grade, they'll recase them for free and give you an express label. So like, I actually love it when it's fucked up because I get new cases for free instead of having to pay $25-$50. But this is the second best starting lineup card. The other one's the one with the black border. I picked that one up as well. And that's another like lesson is make sure you check the actual pop report. Just don't scan the barcode all the time. Because they label things differently and they do their best to clean them up and they actually are pretty good at like they're getting through like the website. But for instance, the one with the black border, I won it was a pop one. And then I went on the actual website and there was 2 different columns and one was, black border and one was white and black. And luckily it was only still a pop 3, so I was happy with the price I paid, but like I got hurt one time. I bought a 2000 Flair Tradition Griffey. It was pop 2. I bought both of them because I'm like, oh, that's a big card. Then I'm like, I think I've seen that before. And then I go on the website. Sure enough, it's a pop 50. They just 4 sharp corners must have started calling it something different when they sent their order in, and they didn't combine them. So, always check the actual pop report so you don't get hurt on the grade because PWCC got me on that with something before too. So now I always check. But yeah, cases you just go right in the website and they'll send you an express FedEx label and you'll get a new one. Game jersey. This one's numbered to 75, silver. These are like wicked tough. Like I just sold one to 350. I only got $500 as a 10. To me, that's like it's terrible. I would have paid that, but I only paid $100 for it, so still made money. Then we got the Prism. So these actually already had a new case. I graded both of these myself anyway, but again, my favorite people smashed the case during shipping, so I had to get a new case. But 13 gold, 2 out of 10, Derek Jeter jersey number. And then we got the big boy, 2012 Prism. 7 out of 10. I've yet to see another 12 come up anywhere. Like nobody I know has one. Let's see. Here's another. Again, if you're a conditioned person like myself, PSA 10 guy, this is a huge card. It's a pop 4, I believe. Like we didn't love this stuff as a kid, but it's just so hard to grade. This one I actually got in a trade before the one that popped up on Golden. Home Run Hysteria. This is another insert that like years ago, it's like it very rarely pops up. A couple of came up this year. This is out of 62, out of 98 SPX, which I actually not a big fan of this product, but this card's cool. I like how it's got like the foil embossed holographic little thing there. Then this one pretty pumped that I missed it the first time one came up, and luckily somebody else had one. These are only out of retail packs, like I think a jumbo, maybe a cello pack. It was a retail. I know it's retail only. A little chipping up top, but these are so tough, and I'll give you free info. Sets like this. So we're in 96, and you got players like Kirby Puckett, Ozzie Smith, Ryan Sandberg that have huge followings, but they don't have a lot of cards. So, like for instance, cards in this set of like Kirby Puckett could be like $400 or $500. Ozzie Smith, $400 or $500 because they don't have a lot of cards to chase that are big. There was a 94 Collector's Choice subset of Ozzie Smith. The Griffey would sell for, we'll call it $30. The Ozzie Smith got $650, which, as you can see, I got one up there to open at some point. So like sets like this can be very tricky. These are out of 100, but yeah, they're tough sets, and this is a pretty cool photo. And we got the Kramer numbered to 10 is one I've been chasing for literally a decade, and I've never found somebody willing to sell it. I found people that claim they had it, but it never came up, and then there's one dude that has it that's holding it hostage. But after seeing it again, it's a flat purple. It's kind of ugly. This one's the best looking one by far. These are out of 15. And then if anybody, I had a video, which I should have posted it to YouTube. I pulled the Ripken Gold from blaster boxes that I bought off of eBay. So that was pretty cool. I pulled that live, and I pulled the Larry Walker to 50. And then a fun fact, I found one of these in a lot years ago. This was 2014, 2015, for $50. So that's one of my favorite insert sets. Next up, actually, I got the placard. Let's see if I still got it right here. I must have got rid of it. Is Score, Stand and Deliver, red letters. So there's 3 versions, one with a silver background, silver letters, gold background with silver letters, and then you get the gold background with the red letters. The red letters were a mail-in redemption that it was the first 25 sets were on like this big board, and these were all raw and like they had little corner things on them. So they're wicked condition sensitive, and just hard to find in general. But they don't really sell like for as rare and tough they are. They don't sell that huge, but I actually had a couple sets of these before and broke them down, but it is a pretty cool card. So these are out of 25, and this is a pop one. Next up, I can't believe we're at 60 minutes. We're almost done. I'll speed this up. We got the holographic. These are 1,500 packs. Lynch pins. I'm actually not a fan of these at all. I don't understand why they're so big, but they're 1 in 360 packs. So 2 a case. I actually opened up a case of this before, and it was 30 boxes. I pulled 6 PMGs, and the best one was the Fred McGriff. Early road to the hall. This type of stuff used to be like $200. Now it's a couple grand. Master Craftsman. Somehow I came across 5 of these this year. Don't ask me how. But this is a cool set, and I got I had 3 of them and got 9s, I believe. I gave one to somebody away for helping me with something, and then sold a couple. So established, and just yeah, that early road. That's a double. I have a 10. I have 10s of most of the stuff. Some of these are doubles that I just picked up in the lot to trade or whatever. Like I have a 10 of this, but this is a big insert that people love. That was only in baseball. And then we got back-to-back Quantum Leap. So this 9 is like super clean. For anybody that's had these sets before, like, you know, there is a little chipping, but most of them are just wrecked. But that's super, super nice. And then it's one of the only baseball sets. Like it's one of yeah, this doesn't cross over to any other sport. And I don't know, it's just cool looking. It's just different. And then we also have the 10. I picked this up. This is like basically when I started going on my quest for 10s. I'd find whoever had the 10, and I'd make sure I had a raw copy or something to trade them, and then I'd add either cash or cards, and that's how I got most of these 10s when I first started going for them. If I didn't, like, I graded 40% of the stuff myself, but a lot of it I was able to trade up for. All right, we're down to like the last about 10 cards, so we're almost there. This one, yeah, semi cool. It's just wicked tough condition, but it's not super huge card. But these are out of 125. You got the 97 preferred precious metals. I have a video of the 98s. I bought a box. I have to post these up, but I pulled the Chipper Jones and Andrew Jones in the same pack. It was stuck to each other, so that was pretty cool. We got the tidal waves. There's actually 2 Griffeys in this set, and it's the first 100 of the hollow foil and jersey number. I personally don't give a shit about jersey numbers. I know in basketball and football it's like super grail level, which to me is stupid, but to each their own. People think PSA 10s are stupid, so. But yeah, so the card kind of grew on me just because of the pose. You know, it's kind of like nothing spectacular besides that. But all right, let's see. All right, next I'll show you some. So this is the 99 Topps MVP winner. There was only 100 of these. Griffey's pretty tough. I just sold one. I got $400, which for how rare they are, they sell for shit. But it's a cool one. This one's better centered, so that's why I picked that. And then this one is the only one I've ever seen. So as you can see, this has an MVP logo right there. This one doesn't. So if you're thumbing through cards and you're like, fuck these comments, you don't flip it over, boom, you go right past that. So I know I even asked Kevin Yetter, the big Juan Gonzalez guy, he doesn't have it. and he's got everything. So, my buddy Rick had this, and it's just again, it's not super appealing, but it's very rare. And then another one, this is, for the diehard collectors out there, '09 Upper Deck, the 20th anniversary buyback stamps. Yep, it's just, again, just a hard card to find, and that's more like a set collector, player collector, but that stamp pops. This is one I actually thought I had a gem once, and I dropped it, so didn't have a gem, but finally got one. But this is a beautiful card in person. The one-on-ones kind of got watered down. I mean, a lot of '90s stuff did, but there's actually an unnumbered one-on-one and then a actual one-on-one, but they just pop. Then we got preferred, and again, these are not numbered, but this one's fifth is only 55. Pretty sure this is a pop two or three. And then luckily my buddy had one that popped, and we got both of them. So we got the base and the subset. So this is a pretty big. I'm actually surprised it's a pop three, because a lot of these peel like bad. But as you can see, if you have the dimple debate, dimple, 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 dimple. So dimples aren't end all be all. I don't even look at dimples unless it's like 93 finest that's covering the whole edge, and it really detracts from the visual. But all right, we're down to the final two cards. I know we've been at this a minute. I mean, either one of these could honestly be one-on-one. The gold label is probably worth more, but this one is just if you ever had one of these, they're usually fucked up. So I think it's just cool condition wise. And then there's a lot of ones that don't have the number. Those are like backdoored. And then Leximo has a bunch that they're all cut crooked and all scratched up from the factory or whatever. So, but that's pretty awesome. And then last but not least, we're gonna go with the gold label class 3, 98. 11 out of 25. Just a beautiful looking card. It really pops. Now, this is a card I did own raw, but unless I found the 10, a lot of stuff, there's certain cards, unless I find the 10, I'm just not interested in. Where there's some where I know I can't really be choosy, like a 97 Mirror Team. It's the only one came up in 10 years, I had to buy it. But this one is one that, as a 10, I'm definitely, pumped to have it. So, all right, well, that's all I got for you guys today. And leave any comments or suggestions or other things you want to see below, and I'll be back soon.